I need a motion to continue with the regular part of the meeting.
So moved.
Councilman Williams with the first, Councilmember Bamanto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan?
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin?
Aye. With that being said, we'll finish with unfinished business, number 22.
Resolution authorizing execution of contract to purchase the Stearns Building, 338 Central Avenue.
Is there a motion to take it off the table?
I would like to motion.
Councilman Civiletto with the first. Do I have a second? Councilman Bamanto with the second. Clerk, call the roll to take it off the table.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan?
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin?
Aye. The resolution is now off the table for discussion and vote. Do I have any discussion on the resolution to purchase the Stearns Building? No discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan?
No.
Councilmember Civiletto?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin?
Yes. Resolution number 25.
Resolution authorizing execution of settlement agreement regarding misclassification of Wendy Spinoza work from 2002 to 2016.
Do I have a motion to take it off the table? Councilman Bamanto, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Civiletto, clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
No.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan?
Nay.
Councilmember Civiletto?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin?
Yes. Do I have any discussion? Councilman Williams.
Yeah, this has been a stressful one for a lot of us. We've had a lot of discussion about it, and we got a lot of different information. Not all information that I was able to get has been looked at by me and checked out yet. I did get some emails. Thank you, Rich. But like I said, in executive session, all the emails didn't load, and I wasn't able to get those till about 10 after 4, and then I was getting ready for the meeting. So I'm not prepared to vote on this, and since it came off the table and I'm not prepared, I'm going to end up voting no.
Any further discussion? Councilman Bamanto.
I would like the lawyer to speak on what would be against if we voted against this tonight. If he may.
Mr. Saley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Joe Saley. I'm an attorney with Colligan Law in Buffalo. And Rich has asked me to give him some input on this proposed settlement. First of all, I want to say I grew up in Buffalo, but my father was born in Fredonia. And I have many happy memories of coming to Fredonia and Dunkirk when I was growing up to visit family down here. So I'm always happy to come to Chautauqua County. I've been practicing law in the Buffalo area for over 40 years. A big part of my practice has always been working with public sector employers and private sector employers on many different kinds of employment issues. I've handled probably just about everything you can imagine, including cases such as this one involving the misclassification of employees as independent contractors. In addition to that, for the last 12 years, I've worked as a mediator in the federal court, and I work with the parties in cases in the federal court to try and settle those cases. During that time, during the last 12 years, I've mediated about 200 cases, and most of those cases have been employment law cases. So I've had a lot of experience over the years, dealing with different kinds of employment law cases and settling employment law cases. I really think it's in the best interest of the city that this resolution be passed, and I'm happy to hear that it was passed by a majority vote. Would you like me to go into some detail about what the exposure might be if the resolution didn't pass, or?
Richard, do you have an opinion on that?
They haven't voted on it yet.
We haven't voted.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
They just voted to take it off the table.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't understand the procedure. I apologize for that. Okay. So,
if I may interrupt. Richard?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Exposure-wise, liability-wise, is he able to speak to facts? No, David?
Not all of them.
Okay.
Not all of them. The misclassification.
On the misclassification case, yes.
Yeah. If I can summarize, if she were successful in her misclassification case, our estimate, based on information that's been provided to me by the city, is that the city's exposure could be close to $300,000 for a combination of the pay that she lost by not being a city employee during the time she was an independent contractor, and even since she became a city employee, she's not at the same step level she would have been at had she been a city employee going all the way back to 2002. So we think the city's total exposure would be probably close to $300,000. Now, her attorney has provided some information to the city with a bigger figure going all the way back to 2002. If we don't settle the case, and if it does go to court, we would try to limit her claim to just the last 6 years. We think that would be the applicable statute of limitations. But even looking at just those 6 years, we think the city's possible exposure could be close to $300,000. In addition to that, if the case does go to court, and these cases tend to be pretty complicated, the city could easily spend over $50,000 in attorney's fees just defending the case. The proposed settlement that's been negotiated with her attorney would involve paying her $36,000 up front. It would involve paying her attorney $4,000 for the attorney's fees, and there would be an additional payment to compensate her for her loss of pension benefits of $100,000, but that would be paid over 10 years at $10,000 per year. I've been involved in a lot of settlements in my career, and I think this is really a good settlement, and I think it really is in the best interest of the constituents and taxpayers of the city to accept a settlement. I think if you can settle a claim where you've got potential exposure of close to $300,000 plus maybe $50,000 or more in your own attorney's fees, if you can settle a case like that for $40,000 up front and $100,000 paid over 10 years, in my opinion, my professional opinion, that is a very good settlement.
Any further questions for Mr. Saley before he takes a seat? Okay, thank you. Mr.
Thank you for
Chairman.
inviting me to come to the meeting. I appreciate that.
I personally appreciate all the information and your insight. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Bomano, anything else?
Yes, I don't like how this whole thing went down, and I'm not gonna name names and people, but I've been a union guy for 30 years and a representative for more years than I wanna say. But as Mr. Saley said, this is probably the best interest of the city, and like I said, I'm not happy how it's going down. I mean, there's a moral issue, and somebody stepped over it. And, but I will vote for this. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Bomano. Any further discussion? I'd just like to say a word as well. I used to work in City Hall years ago as head of the assessment department, and I was here during those years that are in question. So I'm familiar somewhat with I don't want to say the case, but the time period personally. Like many of the other individuals sitting here today, we don't like what's happening. We rectified the wrong as a council and administration in 2016. We did not invite this upon ourselves. We don't like this, but we have to deal with it. We have to make difficult decisions. And even though we don't like it, and even though we didn't cause it, and even though we already fixed it, we have to do something with it. And we have to think about what the best interest is for the taxpayers, even if we don't like it. With that being said, a lot of information since we tabled this has come to all of our attention that we did not previously have. And I can say the same thing about the Stearns building as well, since we didn't have any discussion on that. But basically the same situation. A lot of information came to all of us. Some of it in favor of this, and some of it on the opposite side. What we have to do as a council and administration is figure out of all that information, what is pertinent to the specific case, and what is in our best interests. I'm a financial guy. I like numbers. Again, like Mr. Bomano said, it may not be a moral issue. We may not like the moral issue. I'm a financial guy. I listened to what Mr. Saley had to say today. This is the first time we've met him. This is the first time he's spoken to us. I like what he has to say. And I mentioned this at the last board meeting as well. We have department heads here for a reason that we hire because we trust their opinions. We have attorneys that we hire because we trust their opinions. But we also have to listen to our constituents as well. And we have to balance the two. So we may not always feel right about our votes, but we have to do what's in the best interest of the city. So with that being said, I personally am going to vote for this today, whether or not I personally like it. because I believe voting yes for this is in the best interest of the city. Time will tell whether or not that is the case, but we have to use what was given to us today and in the past in order to make the decision we're going to make. We can't guess what might or might not happen in the future. Any further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
No.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
No.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Yes. Number 26.
Resolution for intro to local law number 3-2019, adding journeyman electrician regulations and apprenticeship to code.
Any discussion? Oh, I'm sorry. Before discussion, any motion to take it off the table? I apologize. Any motion to take it off the table? If there's no action on this particular resolution today, according to Robert's Rules of Order, this motion will cease to be listed on the agenda of items to be dealt with. No motion to table, motion dies. Pre-file resolutions, number 29.
29, resolution authorizing Adopt a Garden program.
Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye. Number 30.
Resolution authorizing budget line modifications for fiscal year 2019.
Any discussion, council? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams. Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye.
31, resolution authorizing sale of 6 Paper Street parcels to Dunkirk residents.
Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye. Number 32.
Resolution authorizing to execute contract with National Grid for the purchase and sale of street light assets as part of Dunkirk LED conversion project with LED Energy USA.
Correct. There is an amendment to that. Sorry. I don't have the paper. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. Thank you. There is an amendment to that. In the second from last whereas, it states, whereas after several meetings with representatives of National Grid, LED Energy, and Dunkirk sent a letter of intent to purchase the light poles and arms from National Grid. The amendment, well, actually, Randy, can you describe the amendment we're about to make and what the purpose of it is?
You could probably say the light fixtures and individual poles. Would that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the amendment is going to be, the concern is the light poles. Let me make that clear. The concern is the light poles out of what I just read. We're only getting a few poles, but the way it's read is that we're getting all the poles. So in the future, if this something were to happen or we would have to refer back to this, somebody would read this and think, well, hey, the city just bought all the poles. So in order to clarify that, we are going to amend it to say, Dunkirk sent a letter of intent to purchase specific light poles containing specific National Grid light fixtures and arms from National Grid.
Good.
I need a motion to accept the amendment as read.
So move.
Councilman Williams on the amendment first, Councilman Bamanto on the second. Clerk, call the roll on the amendment.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye. Resolution is amended. Now we need to vote on the resolution as amended. I need a first. Councilman Bamanto.
I'll second.
Councilman Civiletto with the second. Clerk, call the roll on the resolution as amended.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye. Number 33.
Resolution appointing Dunkirk Industrial Agency Board members.
Any discussion, council? I did have a comment for the mayor during the workshop, which seemed like hours ago right now, so I'll repeat it. I'd like to see that this is back up and fully usable again with a full board members, and I really like the board members that you have appointed to this. They're professionals within the city of Dunkirk. They're investors within the city of Dunkirk. They're business people within the city of Dunkirk. And I think that holds a lot of water whenever anything before the IDA may be coming up for a vote. So I appreciate the individuals that you picked. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at large Voloshin.
Aye. Number 34,
Resolution authorizing amendment of Border Patrol Agreement.
there is an amendment to the amendment in number 34,
Typo. It's a typo.
typo. But it's a numerical typo, so we will point it out and vote on it. Oh no, here, Tony. Okay. In the second whereas, the last few lines state, with payment in an amount not to exceed $10,000 and 0 cents for overtime wages, and an amount not to exceed $3,500 and 0 cents for fringe benefits, which would make a total of $13,500, versus the second from last whereas, where it states, said agreement by 100, oh, I'm sorry. The second from last whereas states, Chautauqua County has proposed an amendment to paragraph 2, which I just read off, of said agreement regarding payment to increase the maximum amount payable under said agreement by $115.24 to a new total of $3,415.24. That is not correct. If it's an increase, it should be $3,615.24. Clerk, call the roll on the amendment.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at large Voloshin.
Aye. Clerk, call the roll. Any discussion first? Clerk, call the roll on the resolution as amended.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at large Voloshin.
Aye. Any new business to come before us or walk-ins this evening? Councilman Heenan, or I'm sorry, Councilman Williams?
I just wanted to say, I will need to be excused for the next meeting. I will be out of town on vacation, and wish everybody a happy Easter since I won't be here then.
Thank you, Councilman Williams. Anybody else? New business? Any walk-ins? Department heads? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Councilman Williams with the first, Councilman Bamanto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at large Voloshin.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.